Hey, everybody, Brad Linder back at you again with the Brad Linder Creating Comics Show. Been doing this for a year now. Officially, it's 364 days live, but we are going to be doing TinkerBell as the coloring project for the next to the last of the year marker for this 1 year benchmark. I'm going to share this over with the page so we can all see it and with the channels and whatnot. So got that going, one and done. There we go. So now we're going to get this going, and I'm going to be coloring her up. So this is a huge thing for me. I know that I've been doing this for a long time now. I did way more than the just the 365 that's going to be in the sketchbook, because I've done a lot more than that. I doubled up a few times and did some extras, commissions and things like that, and extra pieces to help with Kickstarters and whatnot. But yeah, this is a benchmark goal for me for a purpose, for my sketchbook and for getting comfortable with my art being done live in front of people on a daily basis and getting all that good stuff going. But it's been a growth process as well, and there's many layers to this thing, and I just wanted to say that I know tomorrow's the actual 1 year mark, and I'm still going to keep continuing the show, just not every single day. I can't afford to do it 7 days a week any longer because of time constraints on other work and projects that I've got going on. This was a goal for a purpose, and I still will be doing the show a few times a week though. So yeah, you can count on it at least 2-3 times a week, and I'll set a regular schedule pretty quick. But more details on that later. But right now, I wanted to do this 1 year because I wanted to test myself and make that happen. And this was one way for me to get out there and get exposure online for my comic art and the stuff that I wanted to do and get in front of it, because I was a guy behind the scenes for a long time, especially with my marketing stuff. I was the one that would do the work for everybody, let them take credit, and then move forward and, collect a paycheck and be done with it. But the thing was, I had to move forward in a different direction when I made that promise that I made to my sister to not be the one hiding behind the curtain anymore, but to come out and do for myself what I've done for so many of those people. And I built some new clientele and things along the way, and gotten students out and whatnot and helped them up and whatever, so I can have some referrals and references and all that good stuff and not be restricted by NDAs. But specifically for comic books, I tell you, my art has grown so hard and so fast because of the fact that I did this. This is probably one of the best and hardest things that I've done, because it restricted, me to be here every single day for these things. And even when I would go visit family, for the day, I would still either have to knock it out at just after midnight so it would be done for the day before, or I had to knock it out right as soon as I got home from a Texas trip, and that's an 8-hour round trip, not to mention visiting time and everything else that had to be taken care of in between. This was an adventure, man. I mean, I made a promise that I was going to do it, and I don't make promises I can't keep. I just never have believed in that. My grandfather instilled in me that, your word is your bond, and when you make a word, you have to stick with it no matter what, no matter how bad, the conditions are to make that happen. That's just one of the things he's always instilled in me, not only as a human being, but specifically as a man. And so many people, just flake out, and it's just one of those things I just can't abide by. But this project was a killer project. I really wanted to do it, and this sketchbook is going to be phenomenal with all these great pieces. And like I said, the show's gone so well, I'm still going to keep doing it, but I'm going to move more into some of the how-to stuff, as well as the drawings and hanging out with you guys and talking shop and whatever, like we do. So you know me well enough now over a year that I'm very blunt about what I say and do, and I don't get into politics and stuff and get into that, but I love to get on and know what's up. You know what I mean? That's my big thing. I know what's up, and that's the prize for me is to be able to get that done and know what's going on. So I'm very adamant in that regard. But yeah, it's just it's crazy, man. It's crazy, crazy, crazy seeing everything going on the way it is, and I'm trying to decide on which green I want to go with on her costume here. But it's just one of those things where everything comes together the way it's supposed to, and for me to be able to continue on with marketing and comics and do the business goals that I have, putting out books and pieces and courses and material for you guys, I've got to move forward on that and free some time up. So, I did this goal, like I said, to improve my artwork and get it ready for what I feel comfortable with, and I think it's reached a level to where it's still evolving always. I'm one of those type of guys that I don't sit on a design for 20 years and then drop it on you and say, hey, this is my style change now. I'm hip again. I come back 20 years after my fame's over and jump back up on board and have a new style, and everybody's supposed to accept it when it doesn't look like anything like what I used to do. But I'm not one for that. So this is an evolving process. I mean, I've always been one to sketch every day, no matter what. And I have a training period that I go through every morning. I have a training ritual, and I draw every single day for a certain amount of time that I block out in my schedule. And I try new things and experiment and, add in new things into incorporation into my artwork. But that's one of those things where this process has jumped my work leaps and bounds. And you guys have been phenomenal with following it and letting me do this and letting me come into your life experience. And I appreciate that. And I hope we can continue on because, like I said, the show still is going to continue. I am going to be posting stuff rather consistently, just like I have been, just not to the extent of every day. Like I said, I've got to get comics drawn up and got those out and got those coming out and all that good stuff, and then got everything coming down the line thereafter as well. So interesting stuff coming down the line. Now, everybody colors TinkerBell's eyes blue, but I'm going to give you a secret. They're actually green. They're actually green. They are a dark, yet, let's say a rich, but yet vibrant green. And believe it or not, you can check I'll tell you the difference. Check the Disney films, the classic animation versus the new stuff, and you'll see that the original animated TinkerBell that used to fly around at the intro of the Disney films and showed up in the original Peter Pan had green eyes. She had green eyes. No one pays attention to that. Everybody colors them blue. Isn't that something? That's kind of spooky. So now I'm going to go in with this this BG10, which is a cool shadow color. Okay, it's a really light, faint blue, and I'm going to go over her wings with this. And I know everybody's going to be like, "That's not the right color." Trust me, trust me, trust me. As always, you got to give a little to get a lot. So I ask that you give a little trust, and you'll get a great look out of it and great results. So trust me, trust me, trust me. Got to get this going. I'm leaving a little white zigzag pattern trim right along the edge of the wing there. And I'm just giving this a whitewash right over it. No biggie. And we actually want this to look a little whitewashed and a little sporadic, because I want it to be that washed look will give it a transparency to it, and I want it to look like that. I want it to look like it's got weak spots or thin spots. Not necessarily weak spots, because I don't want her wings to crash out, but thin spots to where they look more transparent in places. and I want that effect. And you can get that with this paintbrush tip like this hard tip. You can get that just by doing the marker motion back and forth and making it streak just a little bit. And when it dries, it'll dry at different tones and depths and give it a really solid look. See, nice and bright. And then we're going to go in with a BG34. Now this is called a Horizon Green, and this has an aqua color to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in some of these designs and kind of do this number just a little bit, because I want it to look green, but I want it to look transparently green, okay? So it's going to look a little more blue in places because it's transparent, right? The light's going to hit it and make it look a little funky. So we're going to put in these patterns like this, and it doesn't matter if they go over a little bit because it's supposed to be organic and they're not supposed to be hard lines, okay? So I'm going to go over in places just a little to make them look a little more liquid or a little more fluid, and I'm doing that on purpose just to give them that effect, okay? Now that we've got those wings going on like that, now what's going to happen is we're going to go back in with a green. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Cool deal. Now I have one called, this is a funny color because it's a YG05 and it's called a salad. It's a salad green, okay? Now this is normally the green that you would see in her suit, but I wanted to go with more of a fabric color and tone it down on purpose, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of brush this in just a little here and there. I'm not really going to fill it out. I just don't want to paint over her skin. That would be weird, especially since the wings are behind her. And there's the rim for the lower wing right there. There's the edge of it. I'm going to put a little more on here on this side. And I'm just going to kind of streak this in just a little bit, okay? Now we have that going on, right? Now you're like, well, man, you can't do that because you screwed it up now because you got the whole thing going on with her green, you know, her green outfit and her green eyes. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to go in right here with a little bit darker green like that on the eyes. Boom, boom, done deal. Okay? Then I want them to look creepy, so I'm going to go in just a little bit like that and leave a little of the highlight underneath them so they stand out, right? Now I'm going to go in with this YG63, which is a pea green. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's nasty. No, trust me, trust me, trust me. He's like, that's going to look like my grandma's pea soup. That's gross. No, don't do that because it's not going to look bad, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to go in here and do some shadows. Just simple shadows to show the accent points for her curves and not make her look weird, okay? You know, because it's not, we're keeping it G-rated, people. So just going to kind of brush that in a little bit and put that curve there on the top like that. And then we'll come in underneath the rib cage a little bit like this and come down and accent those evidebus. So got that going on. And then right up underneath the arm here, we're going to catch that rib cage and catch that lat. So she has her pretty little back line there, smooth back line. And then that rib cage coming in, boom, right there like that. Nice and neat, right? Really cool. Now, I'm going to go in with a, where's my, maybe, I forgot my pink. Hold on just a moment. There we go. I'm going to go in with a YR00, which is a powder pink, and that's what I'm going to use for her lips. It's a very soft and subtle pink, but it's a differential color from her skin, so it's going to give it that muted look and make her lips pop right up. Really, really cool look, right? Now comes the cool part. I really, really love this. This is going to be fun because what we're going to step up and do now is I'm going to go in with a very light purple, which is a BV11, which is a it's a soft violet. And I use this one often. Okay, So what we're going to do is we're going to go in with this very cool, light, soft violet right up in here like this. And we're going to outline her just a little bit, okay? And the reason I want to go with this color is because this is soft enough that it will give a very solid color and dark, beautiful background, but yet not overpower her, because most people would go in with the greens and the orange or yellow hair like this and just jump ship and say okay and put in a really bright animated style vibrant purple, a hardcore purple. And I'm not willing to do that because I want to keep it very classic and very light. So we've got that going on, okay? Now I'm going to paint this back and forth, kind of swishing this out a little bit, and then I'll go back over it. But I just want to block this out just a little bit more. And this color is very soft because people are like, your marker's dying. No, my paint's not dying. My paint is just fine. This is a very thin color, and you have to kind of baby it a little bit. But what I'm doing is, if you see the technique that I'm putting in these patches of color that are going to be kind of reminiscent of what I did with the wings, with the fluctuation and showing the transparency. And the reason you do that is because then it looks kind of cloudy, you know, at that point. It looks kind of like clouds. And that makes a whimsical effect in your mind. It's a subconscious thing. It makes a very whimsical effect. So just go back and forth and clear up the color and block in all the holes, the transparency from the paper, and make it look smooth, nice and smooth. And rotate my pen a little bit so I don't crush my brush. And nobody does this, you know, and then I like to do it because of the fact that it makes it look that way. Everybody wants to go back over 3 or 4 coats and waste their marker, you know, or waste their paint, and I'd rather not, because I know what this color will do. And when it dries, like I said, it'll give that whimsical background, and it won't look like a sketch card at that point. It'll look more like a trading card because it'll look a little cleaner, and that's what we want. So going right off that edge there, make it a massive section here. Okay, now I'm going to go right down here along this hair and along these wings and not ink over them. And like I said, very whimsical, very clean, very Disney-esque, and that's the point. It's still my style, but it's very, very reminiscent of the core material, which is what we want. See? Very cool, right? Now, I'm going to go back in here and grab my trusty dusty. Hey, Jackie. Nice you made it. That's okay. That's all right. Hey, Johnny. Glad you made it, buddy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to get this going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to put in these nice little star patterns. Like that. And I'm going to put them in different directions and shapes. And I like to do these 6-point because that's what they did in the classic Peter Pan. All of the pixie dust always made that little star, that little snowflake style star. So, and Walt Disney said he did that because that was his favorite design for it, because they couldn't decide what to do with pixie dust, and they made it with the stars. So that's just how they did it. So there you go. Now Popping in a few more of these here and there. And we have full-on TinkerBell. I'm really digging this one. I'm a huge fan of this character, by the way. And as a Disney fan from way back, as well as a character conceptual design artist, I just love this character. Love it. She is one of the best properties that Disney has, and they have milked her to death in the little films and animation and all that mess. And she was the icon avatar way beyond Mickey for most of my life with Disney experience, because if you remember the Disney movies that they would have on TV late at night, they would play the Disney movies on the weekend, normally Sunday evening, and then they had the series that came out, Sidekick with Ernie Reyes Jr. and oh good Lord, they're gonna take my sci-fi card away. The dude that played Buck Rogers played his adopted dad in Sidekicks, and he played a cop. And then you had dinosaurs, and then so many other TGIF Friday, which was all Disney, Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, Full House, all those shows were Disney, ABC Disney. So that's where that came from. And a lot of people don't realize that. But let's see. What happened was Disney got a hold of ABC, and they wanted to do like they did back in the 60s with, the 70s actually. They did with Happy Days. They did with Happy Days, and then they just did the spin-offs of Laverne and Shirley and Joni Loves Chachi, and they did all those other things, with Scott Baio, where he wore all the muscle shirts before the Karate Kid ripoffs from Charles in Charge later. Because it was funny. Ralph Macchio came in, Scott Baio played Chachi, and then Ralph Macchio came in as his little cousin or whatever, and played a couple episodes of that, and then he disappeared, and he wore those muscle shirts, and then they made Scott Baio wear them for a long time, the sleeveless muscle shirts, and then when it all came back with the Karate Kid later, with Ralph Macchio doing that, it was an homage back to that, with him running around in the muscle shirts in the first two. So, little tidbit of knowledge to throw down there for you. Just saying. But let's see. We've got, I think I want to put a little bit of white right in her eyes, right here. Just a little dot right there, kind of make them glisten a little bit. And there we go. We have it. We have TinkerBell. Hope you guys dig it. This one's quick, but hope everybody loves it and digs this thing. We've got a few cards laying out here. I am going to be doing something special for tomorrow. I have a couple of things offline that I'm not going to show you guys just yet. I will be doing a big piece for the one-year benchmark. And then we'll wrap it up. I will be doing this show a couple times a week. Just to let you guys know, I will still be doing the show a couple times a week. And we will be going from there with that, because I want to make sure that everything still goes on and that we still keep doing this. I mean, I'm not going to stop it. It's just I want to make sure that I have everything going on where you guys get to see a couple times, and we still get pieces out, and we still get to hang out and have fun. And I'm not going to stop the show by any means. Like I said, I just have to do a time scale thing where I have to prioritize just a little bit. And by that, I mean I have to cut it back to a couple times a week, and instead of every day for 7 days. So I know I'm still getting questions and asked about that. That's why I'm saying this right now. But anyway, as you guys know, we knocked this out with a final piece where I tell you my regular sign off. So we're still going to do that today. As you know, we have this world for a limited amount of time on this great party and roller coaster we call life. So you guys keep rocking it out and enjoy the day in the moment. Make somebody feel good for sake of making them feel good. Make the world a better place than what you got it, and leave it better for the next generation. Thank you so much for helping with this sketchbook. This show will still be regular and continuing on, but like I said, not in a daily 7-day format of every single day. And I so appreciate all of you very much, and thank you. I will see you tomorrow.